You're watching Suck Professor. Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm joined by James of Seaworthy. Hey, James.
I'm not an onion knight.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Game of Thrones shot-by-shot breakdown, Season 7, Episode 3, The Queen's Justice. This was an intense episode. Lots of stuff happened. I also want to take a moment to apologize for my big goof-up last week when I described the way King Targaryen guy got his chest plate and the rubies in the water. See, I'm screwing it up already. But boy, did I fuck up. I was way off on all the details. I spoke with far more confidence than the knowledge I had deserved. I did know that the guy had a hammer, and I knew that somebody lost some jewelry in a river.
I did way worse, though.
What?
On the Twin Peaks episode, I mistook Raisin Bran, or Captain Crunch, for Raisin Bran. And that is a sin I cannot ever outlive.
Known as the Great Crunchgate of 2017. Yes, James, you sinner. Well, speaking of sinners, let's get to the episode. Here we go, James. Let's go. All right, opening shot. It's a wavy water waves and coming up and crashing on some upturned rocks.
And immediately we know it was Dragonstone because of the cliff in the background. That's way too memorable to forget.
We've all seen this kind of upturned rocks. That's exactly right. So these are, it looks like some group of dudes with a boat are landing, and these fellas are greeting them.
And at this point you said, oh, it's Jon Snow. And I was like, no, it's not Jon Snow. He couldn't have gotten there so fast. This is Dragonstone. It's got to be someone else. And then boom.
Nope.
Jon Snow.
It's Jon Snow, or everybody's favorite hunky love muffin.
Yes, so Hank 1, me 0.
I like that thing he does with his oars. Get it? He's good at rowing boats. So
not as good as Gendry.
Not as good as Gendry's got big giant crab claws for arms. He's been out in the ocean for 2 years. But no, it's a good meeting between Jon Snow and Tyrion. Everybody, I've always enjoyed their chemistry when they both traveled together to the north and saw the wall. And
the last time they saw each other was on the wall.
They're two bastards that kind of get each other on a certain level.
Tyrion is not. He's a Lannister.
No, I said bastards. What did you think I said?
I thought you said exactly that.
Well, they refer to each other as bastards, aren't they?
Well, he says a dwarf is inherently one because he doesn't have the respect of his father, but he's not literally in name one of them.
Not literally in name, no, but in stature compared to their family, they're the runt.
Yeah, he's like, in my father's eyes, all dwarves are,
bastards. Yes, you're right. Okay, fair. Thanks for that technicality. I hope people didn't think I meant it that way. I did not. But they're both. This is one of the things they bonded on, James. Just like how you and I bond over our love for cholesterol.
Yes, and he used that same phrase in the note The Raven in order to get Jon Snow to come to Dragonstone.
Right. So but yes, but they're both bastards, right? Not
figuratively speaking and literally speaking in one sense. Yes.
Totally. Okay, so the Dothraki guys, they stole a bunch of welcome mats from the local houses and they taped them to their shoulders and made pauldrons. But there we go. This guy's like one of the lieutenant guys. There's a name for the top Dothraki fellas. I don't know what they're called, so but let us know in the comments, everybody. But they have a nice little moment there. It's okay, cool. They give a little smile, like, all right, we were bros. We left on great terms. Everything was cool.
And this episode is full of moments that people have been waiting for years to get, of reunions, first time meetings, things that have been building up for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
This being one of them, finally seeing a Lannister and a pseudo Stark meet each other again.
In a pseudo Stark, he's a Stark.
Well, I mean.
I know. Yeah,
he doesn't know just how much a Stark he's not.
Right.
But he's a Stark by familial association.
Yes. All his baseball cards say that he's been on Team Stark since he was a baby. So he's definitely a Stark in the eyes of most of the world, but you're right. Technically, there's more to that backstory.
And his uncle Tony has these great robots.
Yes. Tony always gives the best Christmas presents. Fleece jackets, not vests. You fucking cheap pieces of shit. I'm angry at my family, James. They're fucking horrible. I joke. I'm not supposed to swear. I'm trying to not swear. So anyway, Sir Davos is like, oh, hello, it's me, Sir Davos.
Before we go any further, though, Sir Davos last encountered Tyrion Lannister at the Battle of Blackwater Bay, where he said that we fought on opposite sides. Because as you remember, Tyrion kind of wrecked him and the whole ship.
And killed at least one of his sons. I think his children were captains and they were sailor guys.
Yeah, he used the wildfire. Green fire shot across the bay. Sir Davos was destroyed. His fleet was destroyed. Stannis went limping back to Dragonstone, which is where they are right now.
Yeah.
And that's why he said, unluckily for me.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what he was saying with that sentence right there. That's the reference to the death of his children.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there's the. I start with an there's the fucking dwarf who killed my boys. Anyway, they kind of go, yeah, all right, we'll get a shower, we'll take a crap, we've got a long road, and then they have to take their weapons. And this guy comes up, he's like, hey, we want to go over to my house and we can put on mascara. We can put makeup on each other's faces.
He's got Jared Leto posters all over his bedroom.
Yeah. Do you have any tattoos? Have you ever heard of Japanese lettering? All right, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So he gives up Lion Claw. Is that what it's called?
I think so. Long Claw.
Long Claw. Damn.
Lion Claw. That'd be too Lannister for that.
Yeah, that's a little bit too Lannister.
But he does have the really awesome piece of armor on that has the two direwolves facing one another, the symbol of the Stark House.
Yeah, the two wolves the two wolves about to make out. I like that too. Yeah, these guys are good thing they're not smokers. They look like they're wearing a lot of flammable gear. Just little furry things. I saw a lady in her car. She had her steering wheel was all like fur, like it looked like a white foxtail. It was super furry, and in her hand was a cigarette. I was like, woman, you are asking to be one of those traffic jam burning cars, okay? You corpse.
Was she your Uber driver?
Yes, she was my Uber driver. I took her. I was having her drive me to get cigarettes. All right, so I don't smoke cigarettes. Men murmuring, so they take their boat. Now they're captured here. They have no weapons, no boat.
Exactly. So it's almost as though they're not really guests; they're prisoners in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, they're putting a lot of trust in them to not be prisoners. The North guys are trusting Tyrion's people to not keep them prison, which we'll find out more about that later.
And here Sir Davos is saying, I really enjoyed your scene with Grey Worm last episode.
Yeah.
It was great. I TiVo'd it, I DVR'd. It was great.
You look like you had an orgasm. Did you have one? Was it good? Was it 2 or 3? Did he go a little too much? Did you have to push his head off for a little while just to make him just so your body could calm down? That happens sometimes, when you're really good at it. Like
I shouldn't have done it. I should not have opened that door for you.
Why did you do that?
But I did, and you dove through head first.
No, there's no better feeling than when she grabs your forehead and goes, no, it's too sensitive right now.
I'm closing the door.
It's too sensitive.
The door is now closed.
The problem with me with sex is my name is unmoanable. Nobody can moan. You can't moan the name Hank.
Honk.
See? Oh, Hank. H is the sound you make when you die. All right, enough of that. All right, sorry. Okay, this place has changed. So yeah, he's like, because he used to work here. This is his old office.
This was where Stannis was held up, and he was working for Stannis Baratheon. So he was here with Melisandre and poor Shireen.
Yeah, little old Shireen. She's now a ghost. She's a bunch of smoke. So anyway, I thought this whole shot was really cool. I love this sequence of them walking. I really appreciated the kinetic feeling here, like the camera moving. It was obviously handheld, but very good stabilizing, or what do they call that? Steadicam?
Yeah, so they're doing some exposition catch-up here. Tyrion is reminding Jon Snow that, yes, I was married to Sansa, your sister in a sense, but it was a sham marriage. Nothing happened between me and her, all that kind of stuff, so there's no need to have any animosity towards me for that. I did not have a hand in it. I was just as unwilling a participant as she was.
And look at the ways consequences have positive or negative outcomes that are distant from the action. His respect for Sansa is why he's having this meeting with Jon. Had he taken advantage of Sansa and forced her to do things or raped her or whatever, the way the husbands of unwilling wives did, pretty much, Sansa probably would not have said. She would have mentioned that because she kind of said, he was always okay to me, sort of, right? Like she kind of said, Tyrion's all right.
All right, and there's basically, we should remember, there's 3 reasons why Jon is here.
Yeah.
One of which, he trusts Tyrion.
Yep.
Second of which, he needs help to fight the White Walkers in the war to come from the north.
This is true.
And the third being, we know that Dragonstone is sitting on top of a mine of dragon glass, which they know is one of the weaknesses of the White Walkers. He needs to mine it, create weapons from it, but he can't do that unless he gets permission from the Breaker of Chains.
Yeah, and there's an In-N-Out burger on Dragonstone.
Yes.
I've always wanted to try. I can't do their impressions. My impressions are off. It's off. It's not working this time. Then the dragon comes whizzing by his head.
But before you even go there, what does he say?
What do you mean? But I'm not a Stark?
Starkmen don't fare well when they travel south, but I'm not a Stark.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
Right, because when he said that, the first thing that flooded my head was like, oh my gosh, he knows about his own Targaryen roots. This is amazing. And then I was like, oh wait, no he doesn't. It's because he's a Snow. He's not a true Stark. So he wasn't making a revelation there. He was making a comment that is more true than he really understands fully.
And it also... the whole thing with Catelyn Tully, Mrs. Stark, she was such a bitch to him all the time.
Yes, she was.
She was really horrible to him throughout his whole childhood, and that was but I'm sure Ned saw that, and so Ned just let her believe that he had cheated, which he never did.
Because he knew that if he hadn't done that, then Jon Snow's life would have been forfeit.
Right, yeah, no, he did it to protect Jon Snow, but also, like, that Catelyn was just awful. Not that he deserved it, even if she was correct, but, like, she was just awful, this little kid.
I think she had some way reconciled and somewhat apologized.
You came out of my husband's penis onto a different woman? Get out of here!
Good Lord.
All right, so, screeching, "Rawr, rawr!" Take that! So the dragon comes whizzing by.
First time Jon Snow has seen a dragon.
Yes, this is a big deal. I would love to see a dragon in real life. All I'm stuck with are these goddamn iguanas and alligators and stuff.
I can put an iguana in a string for you.
What? What does that mean? Is that
swing it across the sky?
What are you saying? Iguana on a string?
Yes, this is essentially what he just saw.
Oh, to make it look like a dragonfly.
Yes.
I thought that was like a country music lyric or something.
No.
An iguana on a string.
Country people don't know what iguanas are.
Or strings. Strings, that's what you use to hold up your pants. No, those are electrical cords.
Yes.
All right, boy, I just lost the South.
I don't think you ever had South.
The people of Dorne are... Yeah, I'm sure I don't have a lot of friends down there. So anyway, this is cool, dude, these dragons. By the way, this is how they should greet everybody that comes to this place, just to let them know who's really calling the shots, okay? It's the lady with the 3 freaking magic dragons that can rain fire upon anybody at a moment's notice. These are basically stealth bombers.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, come on. It's crazy. So look, there's those wolves trying to make out.
Yeah, so there's a level of intimidation already for him before he even meets her.
Yes.
Because all this time you've been hearing about the 3 dragons, but seeing them and hearing about them are 2 different things.
Right. This is why I don't wear short sleeve shirts. Because when other men see my guns, they are overwhelmed with being intimidated by me. By my weird flappy arms. I sunburn. I sunburn real easy, and then I have an owie, and then James has to rub aloe on my face. All right, so
this is Melisandre with Daenerys.
I don't think this scene was super important. What we really find out here is that she's leaving, right? Just get to the end of this. She's like,
she's going to go up to Atlantis. But he's like, you spoke so highly of Jon Snow, why is it that you hide up in the cliffs? And she reveals to him that they parted ways on bad terms because of a terrible mistake she made, which we know is of her killing Shireen. But
I know. I can't help that.
But she admits that was a terrible mistake, so it's almost as though she's showing some sort of empathy for, well, not empathy is the wrong word, some sort of
acknowledgement
of her, regret, I can say.
Acknowledgement that you might have been wrong. Maybe a version of that. No, maybe doubt's not the right word. I'm trying to come up with some word. But this is a little shaking because her whole thing is she's confident. She knows what's going on. She's got the Lord of the Lights whispering to her through the fireplace.
But she kind of lost a little bit of faith in the Lord of the Light when she saw the Dondarran using the power of the Lord of Light in ways that she herself could not do until she tried it and was able to do it to Jon Snow.
That's true. She did have those powers. But to say it's something as a mistake means that there's something went wrong,
right?
Which opens the possibility that other things could go wrong, and now you have doubt injected injected into an otherwise very confident demeanor.
She thought she knew everything, but turns out she didn't.
And that's why you should read more than the Bible. Okay, you should read the other Bible, the Mormon one.
Yes.
Didn't they have an extra? No. I don't know, James. You want to start a religion with me?
No.
You can be the second. I'll be number 1. You be number 2.
Right.
You'll be Brigham Young. I will get all my taxes taken care of, and then we'll live in a limo.
All right. So Varys says something pretty interesting here. I think you missed it, though.
Say something interesting. What does he say?
He says, I don't think it's safe for you to stay here. You should never return to Westeros, which was a little bit more than a threat to her. But she says that I will return one last time. I have to come here to die, just as you do. And he kind of got quiet about that.
Yes. He's like, oh, well, I wasn't considering that option. So, is that some prophecy or something? Why does she know she needs to be here to die?
I think it was just some sort of poetic thing she was saying. I don't think there's any sort of magic behind it or anything that she has in a connection to Varys where they know that they're cursed and they have to come back to the accursed land to die or else their spirit is forever hanging in limbo. I don't think it was anything like that.
I want to check in on my smoke baby.
I forgot about
I want to make sure my smoke baby went to art school like he said he would after that murder I sent him. Smoke baby.
Yes.
All right, that sounds like a good name for a cigarette.
Yep.
What? Ugh,
so there's Jon Snow's boat hanging out there. He doesn't have his dinghy anymore. So Jon Snow, without it, just like Theon, he no longer has a dinghy. Yep. So he can't get back to his boat.
I'm the one who makes the dirty jokes?
I try sometimes.
Call it a ding dong.
What I mean, Theon is floating in the water. He has no boat.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
There's nothing dirty about that.
Poor little dinghy. Yeah.
It was a double entendre.
Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about when you have no penis, when you're in the ocean, it's already on the inside. You know, like when you get really cold water on your dinger, and then it turns into an innie. I've had it go so far in, it's like it's gone. All right. So then it's the ocean. You already saw the ocean. Okay, there she is on the throne.
So here's another huge moment. Jon Snow meeting Daenerys Targaryen for the very first time.
Yep.
And she gets her very long introduction.
Yes, I took screenshots. Rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful queen of the Andals and the First Men, the smearer of boogers, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the wiper of tissues, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the opener of McDonald's, unburnt, the breaker of chains, and then it's turned out, this is Jon Snow.
Yes.
He's the king of the north.
He underplayed it a little bit.
He's king of the north.
I would have started with risen from the dead.
Yeah. This guy used to be dead, bitch. Yeah. All right, you got anything on that? Huh? He is the waker of dead bodies. I know the way.
Yeah. Okay. And I was waiting for him to do it too. And he actually does start going down that road to say that this man, I think the exact word he says is that he took a knife in the heart for his own people. Yes. But she doesn't get to figure out what he means by that because Jon Snow mad dogs him and says, stop it.
Right. Yeah. I think that might be coming up in just a couple more. Yeah. That happens. So, we have all this back and forth about the Targaryens and whose dad did what, whose grandpa killed whose dad killed who.
So there's two different motivations going on, right?
Yeah, go for
Daenerys wants to rule the Seven Kingdoms. She knows that in order to rule the Seven Kingdoms, she needs loyalty throughout the kingdom. She knows he's king in the north, which means that if he does not bend a knee to her, he's essentially going back on the fealty oath that was given to her family, the Targaryens, by the Starks many moons ago. Mm-hmm. So she says that oath was made in perpetuity, and if you are a person who reads any legal contracts, inception to perpetuity obviously means forever.
Just like the Scientology contract.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a billion years.
So she's essentially, all she cares about is ruling the Seven Kingdoms, gaining loyalty, gaining the fealty of the major houses of the people who currently rule the kingdom. Jon Snow doesn't really care about all that stuff. He wants to come here because he needs the Dragonglass and he needs her cooperation in order to get help fighting the White Walkers.
Right.
He does not see this internal power struggle between the different kingdoms and different whatnot to be of any consequence whatsoever when the real threat is in the north. And he needs to make her understand that.
Yes, and as he explains later, too, in relation to all that, thank you for explaining all that. You did great. He basically says how incredibly disappointing it'd be to the men that chose me to be their leader if I just gave you the kingdom, basically.
Yes.
For him, he would be demoted to Warden of the North.
Right.
But that would mean that now they all have a new boss. And
the problem is he doesn't know her, she doesn't know him.
Right.
So a first-time meeting, no one's going to give a lot of ground in the first-time meeting before you really know who you're dealing with.
Because she went right for it. She's like, you got to bend the knee now, buddy. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, lady.
Yeah, and he doesn't know that that's her aunt. She doesn't know that that's her nephew.
Wait. Start over.
Daenerys Targaryen. Yeah. Her brother was I'm going to pronounce these names wrong. But Rhaegar Targaryen?
I don't know, Rhaegar.
That sounds much more correct to me.
Yes, Rhaegar.
Rhaegar Targaryen was in cahoots with Lysella Stark, was it? Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And Ned's sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had a child, which was Jon Snow.
Right.
Therefore, because her brother had a child, that means that she is the aunt, he is the nephew.
The aunt. I like the way you pronounce that.
The aunt.
It's called aunts, like we say it from the Midwest.
Yes.
Yeah, so they don't know that they're related. They'll find out later when they're making out and their genealogy letter shows up.
Not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. I didn't get any attention. I didn't sense that they were wanting to bang her.
She speaks very rationally here. She's saying things like, yes, my father was an evil man. He did unspeakable things to your family. I'm here to apologize on behalf of that and ask for your forgiveness.
Yes.
But still, we need to come to an agreement, so I need you to bend a knee.
Right.
And Jon's like, well, you need my help just as much as I need your help.
Yeah.
And she kind of takes that as a joke.
Well, there's a whole thing going on here that she doesn't know about the White Walkers. So this is a big deal for her to learn about this threat because she kind of had her whole plan worked out, which has been upended already a little bit by Euron's taking of the Greyjoys and the Sand Snakes. But her learning about the White Walkers would completely change the way she might approach her plan to conquer the continent. But before we get to her, he starts talking about the White Walkers, but I'm going off on a weird. I don't know. She has to trust him because that's a big part of this episode is whether or not he's telling the truth about this White Walker business because it does sound crazy.
Yeah, can you go back one?
Yeah, of course.
So on this one right here, this kind of shows that Jon is a tactician, that he understands what she's doing because he's saying that from what I've seen, from the armies that you have and the power that you had, you could have gone to King's Landing and you could have destroyed them already. Yeah. But you haven't done that.
Yeah.
So why haven't you done it?
And yes, but he also learns that makes her something of a thinking, decent person.
Yes, and Sheen understands that he's not just some brute from the north. He is a tactician himself.
Right.
And it's funny that Sir Davos said, even without 3 dragons, we almost took King's Landing.
Yeah.
And that was the Battle of Blackwater Bay.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's like, almost.
Yeah,
because he was the one who stopped him.
Almost. I recall having wildfire.
Dummy. He had a great line earlier, too, that we missed when he was walking along that stone platform saying, it's like, you've come a long way since we met talking to Jon Snow. Yeah. And he was, something like, trials and tribulations through bloodshed, but I was drunk for most of it.
Yeah, I was drunk for most of it. So this is what Jon learns. You're better than Cersei there, lady, all right? But yeah, I mean, they both are really kind of learning a lot about each other. And honestly, they're both pretty straightforward actors. They've sacrificed for their own cause. They've, but they're fair. They've defended people who other kings may not have defended, right? And then that's one of the points Sir Davos makes after she's sort of frustrated. Oh yeah, he does this whole thing about calling everybody a child. He's basically no, everybody, the White Walkers are coming. It's like the scientists in global warming going, motherfuckers, pay attention. This is worse than everything. Everybody.
Or like Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, which one is that? Bill Pullman.
Randy Quaid running around.
Oh yeah, nobody trusts him.
Yeah.
The shitter was full. That's a Home Alone quote.
That's not a Home Alone.
Well, it's not.
That's Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon.
Same difference. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about details on the internet.
You sure care about Captain Crunch, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So basically, Jon is saying it does not matter who sits on the Iron Throne, because if you want to pursue your goals and take the Iron Throne, you're going to be ruling over a bunch of corpses, that you're going to be ruling over a graveyard.
Yeah.
It cannot wait. You cannot allow me to bend the knee and help you take the kingdom and then turn your eye to the north. By then it'll be too late. Right.
So, this whole thing, I'm not your enemy. No, the dead are your enemy. So there's a lot of this about the army of the dead, the White Walkers. What are they? He goes, I know it sounds nuts, man. I get it. But
to be fair, Jon is not doing a very good job at this. If I were him, I would tell this story about, I was at Hardhome, I saw them fall, I saw them murder and rise down from the tops and raise them from the dead, and their eyes were as blue as ice. And
don't they have some old bones or some weird weapons? And look. Look at this bone. I don't know, bring some evidence. Bring a zombie arm. Be like, I got a zombie arm.
just say, why have you brought a corpse arm? That it tells me nothing. Well, and you can bring a part of the White Walker. Remember when he used long claws to kill the White Walker? He shattered into shards of ice. There's nothing to show.
Look, he pulls out a puddle of water. He goes, it was ice when we left.
Yes.
It's turned into water.
It almost killed me.
No, you can be just imagine the eyeballs are blue. Yeah. They're glowing blue. I'm fucking telling you, blue.
He pulls out his phone. I recorded some of it. And she's like, you didn't hold it landscape. A queen refuses to watch.
She calls it portfolio, or what is it? All right.
Why don't people turn their phones? It drives me nuts.
It's because we have a moron epidemic happening right now. I don't know. People don't realize it's fine. If you're in a hurry, or if you're filming a poll, keep it upright.
So Jon is spitting truth, and she is so focused on being the queen of the Seven Kingdoms that she's not really adhering to his warning.
Yes, and then but they're bringing up kind of old slights within the family. This is a thing about how Baratheon ordered the daughter, or ordered her death,
which is kind of funny though, because right before that, what did she say?
Right before this in this scene?
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's not in the screenshot, I don't fucking remember.
Well, she basically says that my father was an evil man, but I don't believe in a ruler looking down and accusing someone for the sins of their father, or the sins of those who came before.
Oh yeah, there's that.
So she basically exonerated herself through that logic, and now she's turning around saying, "I wonder if your father." Right. Knew that his friend Robert Baratheon sent assassins to kill a little girl in her crypt. In her crib. All little babies are born in crypts.
They live in crypts. That's why they have a crypt keeper.
Yes.
To water the babies. Well, this event actually, this whole assassination is what split up Ned and Robert. This was what Ned had a very strong moral reaction to Robert's plan to kill Daenerys. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's the sole thing that split them up, But remember, Ned like stood his ground and said, as a hand of the king, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't kill a girl. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't agree with this. And that's what led to Ned eventually getting captured and killed.
Is that when Ned hit the baby and the rubies fell in the water?
Yes. Yeah. Well, Ned had the baby. It was a baby hammer with a baby on a stick. And he bonked him in the back, and all those rubies fell out. They weren't rubies; they were emeralds.
It was the same hammer that Andy Dufresne used to get out of Castle D. Shawshank.
Yes, it was a rock hammer.
Yes,
that's what they call that. Rock hammer. I never seen those, and the rock hammer so small. Look like that's my Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Hank, why are you making YouTube videos about me on the internet? I would love if Morgan Freeman called me and complained. Murder a baby in her crypt. There you go. So anyway, so she's basically saying, look, pal, I've had a bunch of shit happen to me too, okay? Chained, raped, defiled, all those years in exile. So in a way, though, this is good for them to get
She's showing her strength.
Yeah, and that she's no fool.
She's not simply riding in the coattails of her father. She's not saying, because my father was the Mad King, because he had the rightful rule, I have the right to become king. I'm the queen. Yeah. I'm the ruler of the kingdom. She's showing that she has gotten there on her own volition. Her faith in herself has brought her to where she is now, not a simple name.
This whole show could be summarized with just a couple of sentences going, I'm the king. No, I'm the queen. No, I'm the king. No, I'm the king. No, I'm the queen. I'm the king. I'm the queen. That's pretty much the entire... I just did all 7. That's my one act. Game of Bones. A one act starring Hank. Who's the king, queen? All right, so there we go. Until my children were born, they did for me. So she was born into this whole thing.
I love how you read things.
I don't know. I can't.
They're like 6 scenes out of order, and you're just reading fragments of sentences and connecting them together.
Jumped around. Yes, that's very true. I am very bad at this. There's really no reason anybody would watch anything I do.
You'll be ruling over a graveyard. I was drunk most of the time.
Yeah. And we're going to head south to King's Landing for Robert's wedding. I don't know. That's going way back. It wasn't even for his wedding.
So Tyrion is trying to kind of smooth things over, saying, I understand that you've got a concern here, but you have to understand that we cannot possibly halt hostilities. We have events in motion. The war with Cersei is already taken place.
Right.
We cannot simply press the pause button.
Yes. So, yeah. But, they're kind of standing up for him, like, he wouldn't have become king if it was, it's not like he just fell into this job. He earned it, and he's a common kid.
And Daenerys has kind of given her a brief history of herself, of what she went through to get to where she is. Yeah. So now Sir Davos is trying to do the same thing for Jon, saying this is not a man who was standing before you because of the name that he has. He is born out of wedlock. He is risen from nothing. He was on the wall as Lord Commander of the Night's Watch because he was appointed there by people who respected him.
And Davos is very persuasive. He's good at his job. There was that one scene when he was with Stannis at the Iron Bank, I think season 5 or 6, probably 6, where he kind of turns and sort of... I think he does persuade them, I don't remember, but he sort of really gives his good hard sell. And he kind of does the same thing here.
And that's how Stannis was able to get the second roll of quarters.
Yeah, because he needed one in each fist.
Yeah, he's the rightful heir to the laundry. He needs but one more roll.
You can't do a laundry without quarters. Come on. How do you think I lost all my fingers? All right, so Stannis got his fingers off, by the way. But I don't know. So they're basically saying, I don't know, you lady, you're
Jon is being defiant. Tyrion is saying it takes no time to bend a knee. Simply bend a knee and we will take care of this. And he's like, well, why would I do that?
Yes, I think that's a little later, the whole takes no time part. I think that comes up during their private conversation. But, right? I don't know. Anyway.
I think it already just happened right there. But then they get interrupted. See. We hear what sounds like high heels walking across a stone floor. But of course it's Varys, who probably is. Yeah.
I'm tapping on my desk, James, with my fingernails.
So he comes in to obviously give the news to Daenerys that the Greyjoy fleet, the Sand Snakes, and so forth have been killed and completely decimated by Euron Greyjoy.
Your Grace, we've lost all of our boats. We have no more boats left, Your Grace.
He's not going to say that in front of Jon Snow, so he's going to say... You must beg your leave of Jon Snow. I have grave news to give to you, so make your amends, part ways, and let me speak. Yeah, so he's got to say something. But then Jon Snow here says, are we prisoners? And she goes, not yet. Ooh, man. So he's prisoner. So that basically means you're a prisoner. I mean, functionally. So, but he's not ready to leave anyway, so they're not yet prisoners. So, so 2 or 3 ships escaped. Alaria, the Sand Snakes, dead or captured. I'm not sure who said that. So they're fucked, man. They're fucked. This is her learning the news. But this. Well, do you want to recap what the plan was from the last episode?
What, to take Casterly Rock, that whole thing?
Well, yeah. What was the whole thing? No, you.
Oh, I'll do it. Yeah. I don't even know what you're asking me to do. The Unsullied are going to take Casterly Rock. The Tyrells were going to surround King's Landing along with the Greyjoy fleet. and blockade them. And then they were going to starve out King's Landing and then take Casterly Rock at the same time and force King's Landing to capitulate once they lost their home.
And why were they going to use the Dornish troops and the Greyjoys?
The Dornish. I left them out.
Yeah, why were they going to do that? Why wouldn't they send the Unsullied to take King's Landing?
Because it'd be an illegitimate takeover if it was a foreign army.
Exactly. They would lose the support of the people. You lose the people, you lose the war.
Yeah, and you need to get taken over by people who are a little bit more similar to you in order for you to accept their hegemony over your life.
Yeah, so the problem is that I think they believed that Casterly Rock would send the troops over to King's Landing to protect them during the time that the blockade was happening.
Right.
But now that's all been kind of thrown out the window. The Greyjoys aren't going to go for the blockade, and the Dornish aren't going to go to the blockade.
Right.
Because they have been sunk.
They're toasted now.
So that means that the Tyrells are going to be by themselves.
Well, also though, this news changes Daenerys' hand. It basically took a couple of good Jack of Hearts out of her hand. So now she actually has less leverage over Jon Snow than before, because she just learned that 2 of her best cards to play are now gone. So that means she might need to placate Jon Snow in the north more because she could use their help in the coming conflict.
And you can only assume that Varys has already sent a raven over to Highgarden to say to the Tyrells, basically, hey, it looks like the Greyjoys and, the Dornish aren't going to come. Maybe you want to back off.
I like that you made Varys into Anthony Scaramouche.
Yes.
Hey, just don't let it fall about it. All right, bada bing, gonna get a dragon and everybody have, and relax, don't worry, it's okay, don't be afraid.
Well, he's much different from the Mooch because Varys, is a backstabber.
Yeah.
He's not a front stabbing guy.
Mooch is a front stabber. He texted his wife congratulations when she told me he had a baby. Come on, it's your baby.
Wow.
Congratulations, I'll pray for our baby, is what he said. Because he was with... Okay, that's politics. All right, enough about pissing off 1/3 of our listeners. It's crazy. It's just...
At least he's more entertaining than Spicer was.
I don't want it to be entertained by the government. I want them to be competent.
You gotta look for a silver lining in everything.
I'll do the entertaining around here, okay? And no competence at all. All right, cut to... Reek. Reek's back. Reek is being fished out of the water like an old boot.
First bath he's had in a very long time.
Yeah, he doesn't reek anymore. Although salt water is not so good. I mean, Epsom salt to kill a couple of blisters maybe. But anyway, the men grunting, they get him on there. And this guy...
I wish I knew this guy's name, but as soon as I saw him, based on how he was dressed, based on the insignia on his armor piece, I knew that he was a Greyjoy.
Yeah, he's a Greyjoy. That's the Kraken.
And the fact that he is not killing him right now tells me he is sympathetic. He is anti-Euron.
Yes. Well, though, if he was pro-Euron, I could still see him kind of interrogating him and, whatever. But Theon is still maintains his name, and I think they know his face, so they know
who they know he's a pathetic waste of skin who is a coward in every moment where he should be showing bravery.
Right. Although, I don't know what he was supposed to do.
One thing...
Essentially, though, they're acknowledging that had he tried to save her, he would be dead.
Yeah, one thing I wrote in the comments in the last video, because I didn't learn it until after we stopped recording, was the whole thing about why the ship that Euron Greyjoy commands is called the Silence. Did you read that or see what that was all about?
I didn't read that part of the comments.
Apparently what happened is that what he saw when we were recording the video, I thought he was pulling teeth, or the fallen soldiers or crewmen were having their teeth pulled out and things like that. Really what happens is that Euron loses men when he goes on a pirate raid and takes over other vessels. So to bolster his crew, he takes the dead, throw them off overboard, and take the new guys on and say, okay, you're going to be my new crew, but I'm going to cut your tongue out.
Oh.
So that's why it's the Silence. So he was seeing this horrific scene of torture, and it was kind of giving him flashbacks, and he fell back into his Reek mentality.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Euron is a monster.
That's a lot of good background information.
Not that we needed any additional proof to prove that he's a monster, but he's a monster.
He's clearly a monster. And,
who do you think would... Actually, you've seen Euron fight, and you've seen Ramsay fight one-on-one. Who do you think would win?
Euron.
They're both crazy. Euron's a bigger dude, though.
Ramsay does the two knife fighting. The one they had a fight in the kennel with the dogs and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think Euron seems to have that wild berserker thing going on.
Yeah.
But that would be a good one. I'd like to see it. Well, maybe I'll be dreaming about it tonight. All right, so anyway, the point is here, you wouldn't be here if you tried, meaning you would be dead if you tried, or you wouldn't have gotten away.
Yeah, Theon lied.
Yeah, so
he said I tried to save her, I couldn't do anything.
Not only did you not try, but you lied about it, and they just leave him as a miserable wreck.
Yes, you're still a disgrace. You're even more so a disgrace now than you were before, which is hard to imagine.
Yeah,
he redeemed himself a little bit with Sansa by pushing Ramsay's girlfriend off the balcony, by jumping over the wall of Winterfell and helping her get away, but he's sunken back down.
I still defend him, though. What the fuck was he supposed to do? Get himself killed? Why would his sister want him to come charging in and also die? She should have made a face to him and said, eyes to the right, jump into the water. That's what the face says. It's a video. We can't show it. You know what I'm saying? No, she should have gone, get out of here, Theon, save yourself. Why the fuck should he sacrifice himself for her? If it's guaranteed. He
should have thrown down the ball, gotten Pikachu out, used lightning, because lightning is super effective against water. And we know Euron is a water-based
guy, yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
He's got salt.
You know what?
Iron and salt.
You know what's effective against me? Duck sauce.
Yes.
Squirt some in my eyes, and I will be blinded until I lick it out with my long tongue.
I really know nothing about Pokemon. It's
duck sauce is for Chinese food, okay, James? Yes. You can never throw away a packet of duck sauce. Never.
There's a good duck reference coming up a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, we did get a duck reference. That's right.
You know exactly what I'm talking about,
don't you? Of course. It was grisly and terrible.
Yes, it was.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, so now we're in a familiar place. This looks like King's Landing.
And this was really the focal point of the whole episode, because we know that the episode was called The Queen's Justice. We know that Euron was doing the whole thing he did last episode to bring a gift back for the Queen.
Yeah.
And we know from the good people in the comments, I screwed up. I thought it was going to be he was going to go get Tyrion originally, but now it was obvious as of last episode that he was going to go after the Sand Snakes.
Right.
Because the Sand Snakes are the ones that killed Myrcella, the daughter of Jaime and Cersei, with poison, as Jaime was trying to rescue her and bring her back to Westeros.
With a kiss.
And they sent a threat over to Cersei. It was that little wooden box with the wooden asp in it that had the Myrcella's necklace in the teeth.
Wasn't it a snake?
Isn't that what an asp is?
I have no idea
what
an
asp is.
It's
a type of snake.
I've never heard the word asp before.
You've never heard the word asp?
James, let me ask you something.
Really?
No, I'm not doubting you. I believe it.
Well, you doubt me.
That's not. You shouldn't be doubting. Now James is getting out the iPad. No, I have heard the word asp. I've heard the word awl. It's like a tool for poking. It's like, right? A-W-L. All right, here we go. We're looking up asp. Asp. Okay. Asp is the modern anglicization of the word aspis, which is in antiquity referred to anyone of several venomous snake species found in the Nile region. It is believed that aspis referred to Egyptian mythology. Oh, well done, James.
So, and as we know, this all takes place in Egypt. So it's a very apt reference.
It's good enough. I like asp. I'm going to use an asp. The talking asp. Talking out my asp. All right, so look at the horses. I just lingering on this screenshot because I just want to point out how cool this horse's helmet is. Look at that thing.
I would bump into everything with that kind of thing on.
Well, there's his eyes right there. He's got, but he's got a squid on his face. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
How many horses can say that?
But anyway, the threat was sent to Cersei because of the death of Oberyn.
Yeah. Wait, what? The threat. Oh, with the asp.
Ellaria never forgave Cersei for the death of Oberyn.
Correct.
Because she was there and witnessed her lover, Oberyn, die at the hands of the Mountain.
Totally. And of course, Euron's acting all cocky. He's not handsome enough to be this cocky, okay?
No, he's loving life.
You Ewan McGregor looking motherfucker. Come on, get it out of here. I always point that out. I don't know. It never goes away. All I see is a shitty Obi-Wan Kenobi. Crowd shouting. These people are mean. It's supposed to be weird to film. Just like these extras are yelling at these really high-end actors.
What sucks, though, is that the Sand Snakes deserve this. Yara does not.
Yeah. Plus, these people are not vegetarian. They're only throwing vegetables. How about you throw some sausage at them so they could have some meat? So, anyway, he's basically, this one, whore, murderer, man number 2. He's parading them through the town so that the townsfolk can not only scream and yell at the ladies that they hate for some reason, because the mob is a fucking mindless group of idiots, but that he can be seen presenting this gift to everybody. He could have snuck her in quicker and not let the crowds have at it a little bit. So he's doing this publicly so that everybody knows he's on the record.
Not only that, he's riding a horse into the farm
straight
room.
into here, which I think we've seen horses in this room before.
Yeah, but it's kind of a bold move.
I think Tywin rode in on a horse.
I think he did, yeah.
So anyway, then
the mountain seems to be getting bigger every freaking time I see him.
We both went, man, the mountain, Jesus, look at that fucking guy. He's so big. So
it almost looks like a samurai almost with the armor that they have on.
Yeah.
And then you have a little mini mountain.
Yeah.
So they all have the same style of armor on.
I think these are the Knights Guard guys, right?
Yeah, they changed the armor when Cersei took over as queen.
When she became evil queen. Yeah. And she also had a toilet installed in the Iron Throne. So this thing is going whoosh right out there. She never even has to get up. Perfect life. Poor Yara, she's having a bad time. That sucks. But there's the mountain looking fucking huge. And geez, man. My queen, I brought you your gift. But you know what's interesting about this shot, though? Euron walks right up here and right in front of Cersei without the mountain going in getting like, hey, pal. It's like there's been some trust established, maybe.
I wonder if there's like a forced perspective going on there, that it looks like he's closer than he really is. Because we know the last time that he was in the throne room with her, the mountain did kind of step forward and force him back. But now that he's coming here a second time and he made good in his promise, maybe he's given a little bit more leeway.
I think that's more of an explanation than the forced perspective, because he steps on this thing, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It happened pretty quickly. It's not like it's a huge deal or whatever, so... Anyway, Cersei's doing her thing with her crazy looking tiara. I like her tiara. That looks pretty cool. I want to get one. I think that might be my Halloween costume for this coming up year. I'm going to be a chair. There he is. This is where he walked in front of them.
Yeah, it's obvious he's on it. There's no perspective there because the sand snakes are touching it.
Plus he's cocky, like the guys who wear V-necks. Hey, guys who wear V-necks, do some push-ups, all right? Some of them do. Some of them look pretty good. But when you don't do push-ups and you wear V-necks, what are you doing? Come on, grow up. Making a point, James. Oh, yeah, okay, enough about politics.
I don't know
Justice for your murder. All right, so let's keep going then. Cersei's obviously pleased, and Euron kind of is like, hey, you want to be more than friends? Huh?
Yeah, he came here for a marriage. He wants to wed Cersei. Cersei is basically saying that I will give you all that you desire after we win the war.
Right. This is me going up to a woman at a bar, James. Hello, it's me, Hank. Ah! That wasn't funny at all. I apologize, James. I'm sorry for that. Okay. But the only reward he wants is her hand in marriage. Anyway, I think he is horny too. A little bit.
Probably. He's been at the sea for a very long time.
We all are. I'm tired of having sex with manatees.
Yes.
Cersei. So she actually promises him. She says, "You'll get what you want after we win." And he's like, "Ooh, it's so close. All right, okay, I'll take it." So anyway, she's he's been promoted to commander of the naval forces or something. I don't know if that's necessarily
he's basically saying Jaime Lannister is going to conduct war at land, and Euron Greyjoy is the master of the seas. He's going to be the naval genius.
Yep.
And with both of these guys combined, we're going to weather the storm. We're going to hold on to the Seven Kingdoms.
And she gets a nice little round of applause from everybody. It's fun. I've had someone applaud for me once. It was very nice, James. There's nothing quite like it is there. And so
this is Euron talking to Jaime, but no one else can hear him.
I said it as if he was saying it out. But then he just goes in and he starts giving Jaime, and he digs into him like a real asshole. What the fuck?
He knows that Jaime can't do anything to him because he's got the favor of the people right now. So if Jaime were to act out against him, it would show, cracks in the armor of the Lannisters' team.
Yeah.
He can't do that. And he knows Jaime's smart enough to know that he can't do that.
Right. But what does he gain by pissing off Jaime? Wouldn't he
be better served? He's Euron Greyjoy. He's a thug.
But you could be strategically about your like you could be a sociopath at least and just like calculate that. Oh, I'm probably better off being on Jaime's good side here than pissing him off. Unless, I mean, it works for him. He's got this braggadocio. He's got this swagger that no matter what, he's always doing it. But I think this is just stupid. I don't understand the point.
Well, he's basically saying, I know that you and your sister are a couple. Yeah. And that the rumors are true, and he makes these perverted things trying to egg Jaime on, which doesn't really work. I mean, Jaime's not happy, but...
Jaime makes pissed off face. Yeah. James, let me see your angry face.
No, I have one.
Boy, I'm glad I'm not a burrito in your hand right now. You should see James eat a burrito, everybody. It's like 4 bites, and it's done. He eats burritos like the way crows eat worms. Just a couple of gulps and it's gone, and then it turns into bird poop. All right, so Yara is that's just tough. It's tough. Her last moments was she was getting sexy time with Ilaria, and then all of a sudden she's getting murdered by her uncle, and now she's a freaking wearing a leash. All right, so the Mountain doing good.
The whole time we were watching this episode, we were trying to speculate, actually before the episode, what is going to happen to the Sand Snakes, because we know that Cersei is very, very angry with them because they took away her one and only daughter. So is she going to skin them? Is she going to use... I thought maybe Qyburn was going to make a poison to turn them into like some living dead thing like he did with the mountains so that they could neither live nor die. They would be in agony for all eternity for the remainder of their time on the planet.
I like how you think.
But it seems like whatever she's going to do to them, it can't be quick.
Right.
And the whole time I was watching this too, I was like, why is she wearing,
Yeah. I
didn't say anything while we were watching it, but I was like, that's really weird. Why did she get dolled up for this meeting?
Well, it was something that was different, and I did notice her lips were a little weird looking. Yeah. But I hate that thing where it's something weird, but you don't say something, so you can never really say you actually thought it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I didn't get it on the record by saying, hey, her lips are weird. Like,
yeah.
But I was like, oh, there's something, what's up with the lips?
I knew it was the lips. I was like, why? Because she didn't look like that in the prior scene, nor does she ever look like this in reality.
Honestly, what I was thinking was, well, they probably don't have, maybe it's Maybelline, like we do. Yeah. They don't have Revlon. We've got really good makeup in this world. I mean, come on, never see Instagram?
If we had been thinking more critically about what happened with Myrcella, we probably would have put 2 and 2 together and understood it sooner, but...
I get it, because that's what I was like, oh, that's probably just like historically they probably had less makeup options, and she just happened to go with this bright colored whatever, it's made out of dyed rabbit's blood or some shit like that, whatever the fuck they did for colors back then. But no, it turns out to be more than meets the lip, as we will see very soon. She was mine, and you took her from me. So she's pissed off about Marcella.
Right, and this is the moment she's been dreaming about for a very long time, having her enemies chained to the wall where they're completely powerless, and she can just walk around like a cat batting the mouse.
And she says, why did you do that? At least that was a moment of sort of helplessness, and kind of like the kind of question you're supposed to ask in a moment of grief, which is sort of those unanswerable whys, the things we will never truly get a satisfying answer for when someone is tragically shorn from our embrace before their time.
And it also shows that you're really not looking for answers when you're asking questions, yet not taking the gag out of the person's mouth that's going to answer.
That's true. That's true. That's why James takes my gag out before each one of these videos, and don't. If I keep at it, he'll put it back in.
That's why every time you make a reference, I have to go and gag in another room.
Hashtag gag. So she's going, oh, she's hot, huh? She's your favorite, right? I'm sure she is. Wouldn't be ashamed if anything happened to your pretty daughter over here with those pretty eyes. You chose to murder my daughter. Well, guess what? I got plans for you. Okay, lady? And she's real confident. She knows what's up. She has a plan. Wait, where's the thing? Did we miss the one about that? This is where the egg reference is. Maybe it's coming up a little bit.
So she was kind of saying what we were saying originally. Is like, is she going to use the mountain to kill them? And I thought, no, she wouldn't do that because it's way too quick. It's not satisfying.
Right.
So she said that I could have,
there it is. Yes.
I could have the mountain crack her face open like a duck egg.
Just like I gave to Oberyn's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that's a good choice of egg. I wouldn't, if you said ostrich, I'd be like, well, those are pretty hard to break open.
Like an asp egg.
Like an asp egg. Okay, we gave it away. So suddenly she swoops in for a kiss, and my disgusting pig brain goes, whoa, hey. But then immediately, within like a half a second, I was like, oh my god, it's the lips. It's a lipstick. Of course it's a lipstick. So yeah, were you shocked, or did it obviously clicked in immediately?
No, it seems a little bit, I mean, it makes sense. It's logical why she would do it, because it creates maximum pain for the mother having to watch her daughter slowly die from a poison that's of her own creation.
Yeah.
But it's emotionally traumatic, but it's not gruesome. I was expecting gruesome.
Well, the gruesome part is she promised that she's going to let her body rot, and they're going to keep her alive to watch her daughter rot.
I thought that Cersei's rage would prevent her from doing something this subtle. I thought that she would, have to go all out. But she restrained herself.
Wow. I mean, did she restrain herself?
Yes.
She's murdering her daughter. She's forcing her to watch her daughter die slowly and then rot. I mean, that's not exactly.
She could have done a lot worse to her.
True. And then Qyburn hands her the antidote, which we assume that's a bottle of NyQuil. She's here's some NyQuil, my lady.
5-hour energy.
That's much funnier. Why didn't I say that? She only drinks 3/5 of it because she only needs 3 hours of energy. So how long does the poison take? And, we'll find out. You're just going to have to sit here and watch, and it's going to be nasty. And this part, I mean, will force food down your throat. Mm-hmm. You ever see someone get fed through a stomach tube?
Yep.
A capsule in their belly?
Yep.
And they use a syringe to suck up purple goo, and then they squirt it into their belly. Mm-hmm. You know, they get annoyed. I saw that happen to my uncle, and he was and then I was like, can you just squirt some of that in my mouth there? Is there any extra? I want to see what it tastes like. She said no. She squirted me in the eyes and ran away. Make sure the guards... Oh, yeah. So this part, let me just point this out. This is one of my biggest, I don't know if it's a pet peeve, let's just call it a peeve, about medieval shows or anything before electricity, where torches are just a fire all the time. Candles, too. The cousins of torches. Candles are like torches that like went to college. And torches, they never burn out. They're always putting out great light. I love the fact that they acknowledge that they got to be changed. This brought it all home. This makes it feel realistic, like I'm living in a world with genuine texture.
Well, the funny thing is that you're looking at the situation like this in a way most people wouldn't.
I am.
Because you're looking at it from a video game perspective. And video games, they never burn out.
Never burn out.
Most video games, they never burn out. But in television series shows, I don't think anyone would question about them burning out.
Well, but they always show torches. There's tons of torches. I've watched Merlin. Have you watched Merlin on Netflix? Huh? I don't think so.
One thing I will give you, though, is there's a lot of times where in movies and television shows, they'll show someone opening up a secret passage, like, oh, this has not been opened in centuries, and yet there are already freaking candles burning on the wall.
Yeah, like, that's really? What I'm saying. Well, I get it. I understand. Without the torches and candles, we would have just pitch black or moonlight, right? It'd be horrible. We need them. They're great, and they look great. They film well. They provide a really nice, comfortable firelight, which everybody loves. But I just think it's great that they acknowledge that they have to be changed. It's nice. It's like you never see horses getting fed in the westerns.
Yes.
You got to water those horses, man.
Yep. Speaking of horses, this is the first time we've seen his nub in a long time.
Yeah, we got a little nub action going on in there. But he's this is how he goes to bed. Some people brush their teeth. He brushes his fingers. He takes his gold glove, his gold hand off.
And we find out something that we already kind of knew, that nothing turns Cersei on more than revenge and showing pain to other people.
Yeah, who is messaging? She comes in all fired up. This is like Michael Jordan right before Game 7 of one of those game tournaments. And she just jumps in his lap and just starts having at it. And man, who can resist, huh? I don't care if it's your sister or your mother. You're going to fuck her first. I'm just sorry, James. I didn't mean to. Why did I let that thought cut out on the internet? Oh, God. So anyway, they have at it. Oh, then she drops down. And what the fuck? I didn't get a shot of it? Oh, that's really embarrassing. So anyway, she gets down and gives him a beach, and everybody has a good time. It's a fun way to finish up a day. Caw, caw! Birds chirping, and they had a little nice morning. I assume maybe they did more than just that one activity, because why not? That's what nights are for. To quote my favorite philosopher, Phil Collins.
He's not a knight. He is
a what do you mean?
Kingsguard.
Kingsguard. They're not knights. They don't call them knights.
Well, he probably is.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, but he's got handsome gray face hair. Knocking on the door, she gets up. We had almost a boob shot, which luckily we didn't get any. I did have to block out a little bit there, so we wouldn't offend any of our younger listeners.
Now we know that when she did the walk of shame, that they used a body double.
Oh, they did.
Yes, I'm wondering if they did the same thing here.
Oh, I don't know. I know that we're not using a body double right now. My real tits are out right. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. So then one of the Vulcans comes by.
I was like, really? I mean, ever since Cersei cut her hair, is that kind of the new thing now?
Maybe. I mean, it's a nice looking person. But it's like a servant or somebody, like a attendant or something.
Very similarly dressed to the Queen, same hairstyle, everything.
Yeah.
It was kind of jarring
to
see
that. That is interesting, yeah,
and then the Queen, Cersei, opened the door... and revealed him in a bed. She's like, I'm the queen. I don't care what people say. This
is where Jamie was wondering, wait a minute. We don't want them to know that we're banging. She's like, I can do what I want. This is my place. And fresh seats for the bed, which means that we got some ooze. We had a little bit of ooze come out.
No, she's saying that they have a visitor from Bravos, which we immediately knew meant the Iron Bank.
Of course. Yeah, she understood that. Nope, James, I'm talking about...
No, I don't think that she's going to put the Bravos guest in this room.
I can't believe women tolerate men's orgasms. I think it's crazy. I can't believe they tolerate it. Some of them even like it, but it's fucking nuts. Really? What if it worked both ways? I'd be like, yeah, you hit me in the face.
Moving on.
That's not what happens generally. Usually it's like, let's keep it somewhere where we don't have to do laundry.
Moving on.
All right. Liquid pouring.
Oh, God. That's the worst.
Oh, gross. Ugh. Can you believe all of our
He looked happy with it, though.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Me from... So anyway, it's the banker guy, and he's here.
Who, if anyone remembers, who watched Taboo, which is probably none of you guys, but this was the guy who played Prinny.
Prinny? Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who liked to eat ostrich eggs and
Oh, that Prinny. The king guy,
yes.
Right? Like the whatever.
Prince Prinny.
Prince Prinny.
Or King Prinny.
That's why, yeah, because you said that and I was like, I don't know.
There's a lot of layers of makeup over top of it. But,
yeah, he looked really horrible, but okay. Yeah, it is the same guy. All right. So anyway, the whole point of this scene is that he's looking for money, and she says, you'll get your money, but after we win the war, okay, pal?
Yeah, but he's basically saying that I don't really think I'm going to get my money back because you've got usurpers to the throne all around you. You don't really have all, you're looking like a failing person.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the words right.
That's okay.
It looks as though you are playing on the losing side.
There you go.
And the person who plays on the winning side is the one who is going to be able to repay debts. And I have questions.
Except then she points out, though, that you really think the Dothraki are going to pay you your debts? You're really going to get any money if they win? Basically, she says, you're going to either get money from me if I win, or no money from them if they win.
And a Lannister always repays their debts.
That's their motto. That's like, well, what if the Lannister was over 99 billion served? Like when the McDonald's sign runs out of space for more nines? It's like, it's obviously more than that.
And this right here is a big foreshadowing event.
All right, go ahead.
Because she's basically saying, okay, you're going to be my esteemed guest. I'm truly my father's daughter, as he says, he's impressed by her ability to turn the conversation to her advantage. And says that if you were to stay for a fortnight in King's Landing as my esteemed guest, I assure you that by the time you leave, the debt will be repaid in full.
Yeah. Which means, where does she get the money, though, to repay them?
Fairly obvious after that last thing that was said.
I wasn't listening that closely.
She said that your enemies are the Tyrells, the richest people in the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
So
get all the
where do you make money? You go after the person with the money.
Yeah, that's where I get my money. No, I don't have any money. I'm fucking broke as shit. The Lannisters owe the Iron Bank quite a lot of money. Okay, so we've already gotten a little bit ahead of our things. So
we're trying to kind of put this. This was a very, very dialogue heavy episode. It was a great episode. I enjoyed it a lot, but we can summarize the scenes and get through it a little bit quicker than that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could easily read it and be like, what did she say to this scene, James? Tell me how you felt. Boner. All right, so there's the hand. He's having fun. No, he's not at all. But he comes up to Jon, and I'm glad to finally see them have a moment alone. I feel like they've always had an honesty.
They're going to pee off the cliff together.
Yep.
Just like they did in the Wall.
Except unlike then, they're going to hold each other's ding-dongs and do it for each other and spell each other's names. Jon and Tyrion. By the way, little tip for everybody. If you're going to spell your name in the snow, spell a friend's name. Come on. Then they're the one that gets beaten by their dysfunctional parents.
You're saying Tyrion's going to pee on Jon?
No, I spell the word James in the snow every time it snows.
He's Jon Snow?
Jon Snow, yes. Jon Yellow Snow. Okay.
Anyway.
Keep going.
So I love this line right here. I came in here to brood.
Yeah, to brood over my failure to predict the Greyjoy attack. So he's a little upset he didn't know about that. But he does compliment him on his looks. Says,
okay, you missed the funny line.
Boy. I did. It's not there. I didn't realize it was
funny.
Oh, well. Go ahead. What you got? You know it?
No, I don't know it. But
all right. Well, imagine something funny, everybody.
It was saying something like, "I am brooding over my failure to brood better than you brood," or something like that.
Over failing. Yeah, he kind of does a nice little wordy wordsmith kind of joke. It was good. It was good. So Jon says, like, "Oh, we're prisoners." No, yeah, but I can't go back to my ship. I can't leave. I mean, that's pretty much means he's a prisoner. And I do like that Jon Snow is sort of just a straightforward guy. He's just like, "No, I don't want to play word games. Knock it off. We're all gonna die."
Yeah. So this is basically Tyrion doing what Tyrion does best. He's trying to smooth over both sides. He's going to sit here and talk to Jon and try and get Jon placated and in a position where he's going to be more amenable to the needs of Daenerys. And then he's going to go to Daenerys and do the same exact thing, try and placate her so that she will try and give in to the needs that Jon has.
Right.
He is a schmoozer.
Yes.
Is that
schmoozer.
Schmoozer. There you go.
Say it again.
I can't say it.
Come on.
I lost it.
Please.
Moving on.
I liked it.
No.
Schmoozer. What are you going to say? Penguin?
Oh, don't even go there. That's bothered me for a long time now.
Don't let it bother you. It doesn't mean
saying it correctly makes me freaking
There's
sound
no
like...
correct. We're all Klingons. We're all
every time I hear it correctly, I immediately think of David Mitchell.
What's funny? I don't know what that you're talking about.
It's a penguin.
Oh.
That's how he would say it.
David
penguin.
Attenborough.
No,
Mitchell?
David Mitchell.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, well, there you go. Schmoozer. So, all right, so he's basically saying, do you trust me or not? I mean, come on. He goes, no, I do. Mormont saw them. You saw them. I mean, and I trust Ben with honest eyes more than I trust what everybody knows. I think that's a line later on, actually.
Yeah.
So, that they don't believe an enemy's coming to kill them. People. Oh, I love this, though. This showed such... Jesus Christ. This showed how much of an acute observer of humankind and human psychology Tyrion is, because this is so correct. People's minds aren't made for problems at large. This is what we would call in our world the big lie, when politicians just go full fucking hog and give you the giant lie, knowing full well that your mind won't really process it in a way that'll make you accept that it's true.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he's observed this in this time of myth, in this time of legend, in this time of that's the opening to Merlin, I think. This time of magic and everything, where superstition and all this other stuff that clouds the way we understand how our minds work. Tyrion has an accurate read, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm voting for him for an Oscar for Best Picture this next year. All right, it's almost a relief. So he says it's like this, a comfortable familiar. So like this is what makes sense to people. Someone like my monster, my sister. All right, I like that. I just thought this whole thing, the way he kind of like accurately summarized that psychology, made a lot of sense to me. Don't go south. He's like, oh, here I am being an idiot again, being a dumb northern fool. I made the same mistake my dad made. Gonna get my head knocked off. Mama had a baby and her head popped. You know what that's from? That's from Dandelions. You ever heard that?
Nope.
You didn't pick Dandelions and put your thumb under it and go, Mama had a... I feel like I'm on fucking cocaine right now.
That's
I'm not.
pretty horrible.
I'm rambling. Really? Mama had a baby? Yeah, it is horrible.
That's horrific.
Yeah, that is fucking horrific. Hey, let me know in the comments. Did you do Mama had a baby and her head popped off with dandelions? And then you flick the dandelion head when you say popped off.
Was your father Ed Gein?
Yes.
Gein?
Yes, my dad was Ed Vagina.
Yes.
And saved many people from horrible fates. All right, so, all right, take over, James. I feel like I'm can't shut up.
Okay, so essentially Tyrion is saying that you don't know her yet, but I do know her. She has done a lot of things in the past that protects people. She is a person who puts her needs secondary to the needs of the many. She went to Slaver's Bay. She became the breaker of chains. She brought many of the people that she liberated here to this very island not island, but this very wet land that we stand on right now.
I think it is an island, actually.
Is Dragonstone on an island?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe.
I could be wrong. Don't murder me if I'm
But he says that you need to be a reasonable man. You need to ask reasonable things of her. You need to ask for the small thing, not for the big thing altogether.
Fighting for you is not reasonable now.
It's much easier to ask for a fingerful of frosting than it is to ask for the whole cake up front.
Well said. I like that. I always just ask for the bowl. Then I put my face in there and I get cuts on my forehead because it's a sharp metal bowl.
So he's trying to guide him to say, don't walk away empty-handed. Take what you can get, take the small thing that you need now, and trust that her loyalty will fall to you when it really counts.
Yeah, relationship building.
You came here for the dragon glass, go for the dragon glass.
I did appreciate that Tyrion wouldn't say it, though. He's like, I'm asking if there's something I can do to help you. He's basically saying, you have to tell me what you want. I'm not going to say it, but this is how this works. And Jon Snow's like, okay, all right, I'm handsome Jon Snow. All right, so turns out what he wants is dragon glass. This is important. So there's a lot here. He's got intel. She's like, why are we talking about glass? This is a waste of our time. And what does he want with them? I guess it can be made into weapons to kill these White Walkers. So, But
he says kill, but he realizes they're undead. So he's like, I'm not quite sure of the nomenclature. Yeah, destroy, stop.
Yeah, you do a good English accent. I like that.
No, I do not.
I thought it was good. I feel like I'm sitting here with Tyrion.
There are actual people from England watching who would punch me in the face
for doing
that.
English people love when Americans butcher their
do.
mother language.
Yes.
By the way, if anybody can butcher English, it's the fucking English. Jesus Christ, they have 1,400 different accents all in the same block. Hey, everybody, pick two. Okay, like America. We got smart and Southern.
Yeah.
I should probably shouldn't have said. I should delete.
And I'm Southern.
All right, you're Southern, so that's okay. I'm allowed to make. It's okay, everybody. I'm allowed to say that. Some of my best friends are.
If I could buy like human DLC and change my accent to be really British, I'd do it.
I like the British accent.
Yeah, it makes everything sound smart.
We could get you a coach. You want me to pay for a coach?
I pay for coach every time I fly.
I feel bad about that smart and Southern thing. It's not fair at all. It's not. I'm from the North and I'm a fucking moron. All right,
Were you king in the North?
I was Jester in the North. Jester in the North. Smack. All right, so she's like, do you believe in all this stuff? This is a lot to take in. This is a big ask to just even accept it. And he says wisely, a wise man once said, don't believe everything you just because you want to believe it. And then she kind of goes, oh, are you presenting your own statements?
Because I would never do that to you.
That's funny. Yeah, he goes, to you. She goes, okay. But that means they're on a nice little level. These two are getting along.
Yeah, she really does, put stock in his advice.
Yeah, as she should. And so the reason I believe, okay, now this is a cool point that I think he's making. John wouldn't have come. It's a bad idea to be here, but he came here. He's obviously sincere. He's obviously not
he gives really good advice, saying that give him something by giving him nothing.
Right.
And essentially, the dragon glass is nothing to you. You didn't even know it was here. It's a complete useless to you.
Yeah.
But you can gain a powerful ally by simply giving it to him and making it seem to him as though you're giving in. Yeah. To some degree, when in reality you're not.
Right.
You don't need to believe him. You don't need to trust that there's a threat in the north. Simply do this thing, and you will gain an ally.
You'll gain an ally at the cost of nothing.
Yes.
So that's great. Yeah. I mean, in order for James to be my friend, I had to wine and dine him. We went to Del Taco drive-through. I let him buy anything he wants under $1.
It would be like me having like a whole cupboard full of vegetables. I'm not going to eat them. I'm not going to touch them. They're just going to rot in the cupboard. Yeah. And someone comes along saying, I hear you have a great stash of vegetables. I need them. In exchange, I will be your loyal servant. I'm like, let me think about that.
Yeah.
I don't want it's...
What are you doing with the vegetables? We turn them into weapons.
Yes.
And we kill... All right. Okay, so that's an unfortunate...
Make an animated short called VeggieTales.
VeggieTales. All right, so Jon Snow's out looking at dragons. There's Dany down there. Look at her with her golden hair. It's not golden, it's platinum, I guess, right? There's dragons flying around in the skies. That's always exciting. I like watching birds. Dragons are like big, cool birds. And
great observation.
Well, I'm saying if I like birds, I would probably like watching dragons this much.
And this actually kind of threw me off a little bit because you said I named them for my brothers, Viserys and Rhaegar.
Yeah.
And then I realized, the dragon's name isn't Viserys, it's Viserion.
Oh, yeah. And Drogon and Rhaegon or something. Yeah. So one's her husband and then her two brothers.
Yeah, another one comes in and goes, Egon. Egon Targaryen.
That sounds like it could fit.
It's Aegon. Yeah, I know it's not Egon Spindler Targaryen.
Spindler, the ghost busting guys.
Yes. But people have pointed out that we butcher the names. I think me more so than you, but yes, I acknowledge I butcher the names.
And I don't give a fuck. All right, so I do care a little bit. Which one's names? I do. I honestly, me saying I don't give a fuck is a lie. I'm a fraud.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite characters, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Yeah. So
that was the only name I get right.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sad if you didn't get that right. So anyway, they've sort of gotten used to talking to each other. I mean, they kind of are comfortable. Obviously, he doesn't need to be like guarded against being close to her or anything. So yeah, she knows, and they're both. And I have no idea what I'm saying.
This is where Jon says, "It's very hot in these clothes. Can I please take them off?"
I know. Look how much that's got to be so warm. It's like, dude, you don't have to wear it just because you're one of these fur balls from the north. But she does agree. She says this is where she informs about the dragon glass. That's nice. So he's a little surprised. He's like, whoa, okay,
he takes
cool.
it as though she believes him, but she will not say that she believes him.
Right.
She's giving him nothing, essentially. She won't give him that much.
Yes. But she doesn't say she doesn't believe him. Yeah. And she says, well, do your thing there, buddy. I don't really know. This is like when people I know want to go to the beach. I'm like, just do it. I don't believe in it, but go ahead and see what happens. You maniacs. Why would you go to the beach?
There's all that crushed sand there you can forge into glass to make dragon glass.
That's 7 Days to Die reference. That's funny.
Yes.
The beach is filled with terrible things. People, sunlight. Mm-hmm. All right. Chatter. Oh, look, we got some dead animals. That's always fun.
Yeah, why not?
It's cool. It's a quail and it looks like a rabbit.
And they're talking.
Or none of that
chatter.
Yeah, chatter. So back at Winterfell here now. Yep. This is the bustling middle region, courtyard or whatever, with the piles of snow and stuff, and Sansa's kind of just going through a bunch of logistical stuff. This is called running the show. She's got all her folks around her. What's up with those bushels? How many days? So we got a year. All right, so then we got to do is get everybody to bring their food here ahead of time, because when they all come here for protection, we're not going to have time to haul all their food too, so let's just get the food now so we can. And so she's basically like,
yeah, Winterfell is the most strategic location in the north, so when the crap hits the fan, everyone from the surrounding areas are going to congregate in Winterfell.
Yeah. But she's just kind of like ticking these things off like that.
Yeah, she's showing this is
job.
Sort of like, I didn't really like the scene so much because it's too convenient. It shows her walking around, exhibiting knowledge that I didn't feel as though she had exhibited a talent for in the past. This seems out of the blue to me.
But this is also like common sense, but tedious and boring. This is like the stuff Joffrey wouldn't be caught dead doing. Mm-hmm. This is the stuff like other kings leave to their small council to kind of make these kind of like, oh yeah, go get a loan. Oh yeah, go get the new vomit mop that we need for the flea bottom. All right, go there. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is the minutia of governing that doesn't need to be. But it's also, by the way, this food situation is a giant problem. You got to get this right, or you're gonna have a whole bunch of people starving, and then you get cannibalism, and then you know what the farts sound like when you sleep in a bunch of cannibals? Human meat is very undigestible.
If Matt Damon can feed an army with poo potatoes on Mars, I think they can manage.
Poo potatoes. The whole leather thing with the breastplates, like, oh, it's like, and then so immediately the guy's like, hey, put some breastplates. Why isn't there leather on these breastplates?
Well, the whole thing is leather for the warmer months. Well, I mean, not warmer months, for the warmer qualities of it, because they're going to enter a very cold, long winter, and they don't know quite long how it's going to last. So if they're going to be fighting in the winter, they want to be as warm as possible. And plus, leather adds +10 to defense.
It does, and it also adds +2 to dexterity, which you think it'd be more than that than the defense, but I guess that's.
If you find an enchanted piece of leather, though, it could be better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or a rugged piece of leather. Yes. I don't know what that means. All right. So anyway, so this is also like, oh, all right, we're going to put some leather on. It's like, hey, man, this guy's doing a hard enough job with his breastplate as it is. What do you got to go? You think he's got a breastplate stretcher?
I knew that was coming.
I didn't set it up well at all. It's terrible. So anyway, then Littlefinger gets to say some of his evil persuasions.
And Littlefinger was warned by Jon Snow that if he laid a finger on Sansa when Jon was gone, that he would kill him.
Right.
And so as you notice, he's keeping all his little fingers away from her.
Keep his little fingers in their little pants. So yeah, but it basically saying, yeah, either we're all gonna die or we're not gonna die. Those are the two things.
Yeah, he's saying either the army of the dead is gonna kill us and we're dead, or life will go on. And if life does go on, what are you gonna do about that then? What does that mean for me and you? And this is really interesting though, because this gives us a little brief glimpse into the inner machinations of Littlefinger's mind.
Yes.
He teaches her very briefly how to think like him.
Right. Which was intense. Like this whole, I actually, now that we're seeing the screenshots, the way the camera got close in on him and like this, like but his whole thing is just don't trust anybody and always consider every possibility.
Everyone's your friend and everyone's your enemy.
And you'll never be surprised. You'll already, and this is my thing. I'm making it about me, of course, but do your thinking ahead of time is basically what he's saying. But consider all possibilities. Don't ever be surprised. If a surprised person is at a disadvantage, essentially, is another way of saying what he says.
And before this, doesn't he say that if you turn your back to the south and face the north, Cersei will stab you?
Maybe. Yes. I don't know. Probably. I don't recall that. But yeah, maybe. I'm not. Yeah, sure. Why am I making noises? Let's keep going. All right. And then this guy comes by and goes, "Do I look good in my new condom?" So anyway, this was an interesting scene, though. This really did give an insight into how he thinks.
It would have been a lot better if Ed Sheeran just ran through the background.
Strumming a guitar.
Yes.
That doesn't bother me. I know we talked about it, but like some people really fucking hated that.
I didn't care.
It would be like if Dave Matthews was in this. I'd be like,
I don't know why you always go back to Dave Matthews.
Because he's my Ed Sheeran. I'm old. I'm old and weird. I used to know some of his songs.
I would think.
I used to know how to play Jimmy Thing.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
For me, it would be like people sitting around a campfire and then one guy, Smash Mouth, going, "Somebody once told me the world is..."
To be young again, huh, James?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be nice? I would be glad if I died soon. All right. I didn't mean that. For serious.
You mean soon, relatively, in the grand scheme
like
of
before
the universe.
before Christmas,
Before you wither
Christmas.
and fail.
Yeah, that's already happened. I'm starting to melt and fail. All right, so anyway, she's oh yeah, there's a big commotion.
That's quite the spoiler.
Oh, somebody's here, quick, queen, or whatever she's called. And I don't know, but she runs up. And who do we see? James is going, we know there's a reunion coming. The music is indicating.
And I was saying, finally, Arya's coming back. And you're like, it's not Arya, it's Bran.
I dropped some serious logic on you.
And I was like, nope. And I said it's Arya because I want it to be Arya.
That's right, which you violated what Tyrion said. I said...
Exactly, I did.
I said Castle Black would have hurried to get him there because they would have gotten him to Winterfell right away because that's the first thing. What else are you going to do with him? Take him to Winterfell as soon as you can. And it's not that far. So anyway.
And again, you were right.
Bam! There he is. Old grown-up puberty Bran. Boy, did this kid turn into a big monster.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ.
And they're lifting him up, so what are they doing?
They're Bran flaking.
They're raising Bran.
Raising Bran. Well done.
I've used that like 8 times in the course of... Yes.
Oh, all right. I never noticed. I'll probably forget the next time, too.
He's turned into quite the little piece of crap, hasn't he?
Well, this is like when your brother goes away to... hippie school or something.
Yeah, then he comes
back. I'm on the hippie side of the the political spectrum anyway. But I'm just saying, comes back all like
he's way too stoic and serious and emotionless. And I guess when you have the entirety of human knowledge and the past, present, and future shoved and downloaded and uploaded into your brain, I guess you got to give the guy a little bit of a
sure. Oh, considering what he's been through, he has every right to be a kook who doesn't. But come on, dude, you're seeing your sister here. You're not gonna go, hey, it's all safe.
I mean,
put it there.
To be fair, Sansa's been through a heck of a lot herself too.
Of course.
And all he's really been doing is gluing ferrets to himself in the snow.
Gluing ferrets. That's actually licking. He licks them and then slaps it on his chest. They've both been through awful.
Yeah, I mean, look at Sansa. Sansa was taken hostage for a long period of time in her own ancestral home, raped and tortured by a man, having to endure horrific trials of not knowing whether she's going to live or die in any given day.
Yeah, that's Ramsay. She was also had Joffrey.
And what does Bran do? He sits under a tree and wigs out.
Well, he gets to just do tree drugs. He just touches a root and goes, oh yeah, I'm right there. There I am. Oh, I can watch my parents bang. Oh, my dad had a weird thigh. Yes, no, I know. It's very strange.
But this is a very powerful moment. This is a reunion. We don't get those very often.
I think one of the things here, too, is she had to decide did she want to do this publicly. Because whenever you're one of these leaders, these people running the show, it's what you do publicly versus how you behave privately. And I don't think she wanted to show so much emotion.
Right.
But she did. And it's also fine because I don't think anybody in their right mind would see it. Two siblings reunited after so many years and such terrible things go like, oh, look at that, look at what a weakling, she's having an emotion over seeing her brother. You're supposed to cry. It's like when those dogs freak out when a soldier comes home, those videos, When
she's really crying because he is the rightful, the last Stark male, which means that he is now Lord of Winterfell and she doesn't have to work anymore.
Look at him.
So just tears of joy.
Emotionless. Look at him. He's had all his tears downloaded out of his brain. It's essentially, he's like all of us with the internet. We've all lost the ability to feel anything genuine and sincere because we all have the entirety of humanity's knowledge beaming into our faces through our stupid phones all the time. And he did that with a tree. So yeah. Anyway, so now they're hanging out at the
Weirwood tree.
Weirwood tree, James. That's where you and I like to hang out, as we saw in the beginning opening animation.
Yes.
Which is so excellently drawn.
So basically, young Michael Phelps is going to tell her everything that's happened up until this point.
Yeah. How'd you get such a bony face? But there's the old man tree back there, and So
the long and the short of it is he's trying to explain to her why he is different. He has become the three-eyed raven, but she doesn't quite understand, and he sucks at explaining things.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's really hard to explain. It's like, no, it's not hard to explain. There was an old man who was a three-eyed raven. He taught you everything he knows. He died. Now you're the three-eyed raven. What was so hard about that?
Yeah, he was an apprentice. The master or the teacher guy died. The mentor. Now you're the mentee becomes mentor.
Yeah, he's insulting her, saying, "Oh, you clearly could not understand.
You wouldn't get it. I went to programming school."
Yeah.
Is that even a thing? I don't know. But he's being a little bit cunty this whole time. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's turned into a kook. He's got some kind of... He's some sort of celestial being.
I was just waiting for those eyes to open.
These right here.
Yeah. Like a scene from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
The little lips. What if Bran just like casually reached over and like picked a booger out of his nose and then ate it? Yeah, there he is. So that would have been cool. So, it is weird. They do have... So he's basically saying... But
he references that he can see everything, right?
Yeah.
And that he sees everything that has happened, everything that will happen, everything that has happened. And he mentions her white wedding dress. Which tells her, it's like, oh my god, if he could have seen that, what else could he have seen? What has he witnessed that's happened to me?
He knows she was brutalized by Ramsay.
And she's not comfortable with him knowing that. So she kind of strays back a bit.
Says she'll get out of here now and leave him do his thing. He's probably...
And she doesn't want to go to the bathroom now. She's like, he'll be watching me. He can see everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess he has seen everything now. I mean, does it mean he has seen everything, or he could if he
He says everything is like fragments. He's still learning to use his power. He still says he wants to see better, but he can't yet.
Kind of like me.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Gross skin. Oh god, it's like when you accidentally...
It looks a heck of a lot better than I expected.
Well, it does for sure. But you ever just end up on like some skin pictures on Google and you're like, oh god, I just had a fucking mosquito bite. Now I'm looking at oceans of eczema. This is disgusting. So anyway, the old archmaester guy is like, oh, okay. He's just touching him with his little poker thing. Interesting. This looks like I would say the whole all the skin was taken away. It almost looks like somebody did something. But the story that Sir Jorah's going with is, it must be all that rest I did. I just feel better. I like that.
Yeah, it all happened on its own. It was the climate. And meanwhile, Sam is trying to kick the big pile of grayscale detritus off the floor underneath the dresser because it had to go somewhere.
Well, he probably put it in a baggie, like a jewel bag.
Yeah.
Jewel is the name of a grocery store.
There's a big stack of trash bags in the corner. He's like, what's in those? Don't worry about it.
Hey, it's okay. It's nothing. It's just me lunch. And he starts pulling out and eating it. Just crunch, crunch, crunch. Charlie, I'd like to speak with you. So they know that guy's not that stupid. I mean, this dude's not an idiot.
He's the Archmaester. He knows.
He's the Archmaester. So, yeah. So, anyway, off he goes. He says, Sam's like, what are you going to do now, buddy? He's like, well, I got to go find the queen. I owe her my life.
He said that as soon as he, got him afflicted with grayscale, he had given up, that he knew his life was over, and now he has given his life back to him. So he owes his life to Sam and to Daenerys.
And to Sam, yeah. But you said that first, yeah. So here's my prediction. This act will come back in great ways to help the North guys. Because Jorah's going to show up, and he's going to be cured with some scars now, which is fine. We can all look past it. Even some women even like scars.
Yeah, when the whole thing is over, when the very last episode airs, there's going to be this like afterwards montage, and it's going to show Sam. He's rich. He's selling his grayscale cream to the masses and infomercials. It all works out.
Yeah. He'll be the grayscale king of the land. But I think that this gesture, this debt right here that he's referring to, basically is going to pay dividends. That's all I'm saying. That's my prediction. Pretty easy prediction.
And this was a bit of a big leap of faith right here, because
the handshake.
It's a little bit too soon for me right now.
Yeah, a little soon. This is the equivalent of when you remember we had that Ebola scare, and Obama went and he actually stood and put his arms around one of the first people to get cured from the Ebola. Yeah. That's a great thing to do to help everybody calm down. Because if Obama went to that girl and was like, get her away from me, and he kicked her real hard, and that would have been made people probably panic.
This is the second time a thing like that happened in this episode, because when we see the poisoning by Cersei on the Sand Snake, with the lipstick, she simply wipes the rest off her lips, takes the antidote, and in the very next scene, she's kissing Jaime. Mm-hmm. Which is a little bit like, don't you want to wipe it a little bit harder? You keep killing Jaime. And now we see this thing of faith. Not only does he shake his hand, but good old Jorah brings in the second hand to touch him extra much.
Right.
Because, that's just
Although if I was directing this shot, I would have had Sam like wipe his hand on his coat. Just like, like you do when you get like ketchup on your hand but you have no napkins.
Or he just walks very solemnly to a small little room, puts his hand in a guillotine and goes
unceremoniously hacks it off. Alright, so Ebros is the Archmaester, you treated him. So Sam's caught. Sam knows he's not even trying to
this guy is no fool, like you said.
But it turns in Sam's favor. The guy's giving him shit, but he's like, a lot of people couldn't have done that. You did a good job, actually. This is you took a big risk with this whole thing.
Yeah, he says other maesters have tried it and failed. Yeah. How did you do it? How did you succeed? And he goes, well, I read the book and I followed the instructions.
There it is. And he sees some potential in Sam. Sam's obviously a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to be punished severely, but he says, this man is alive because of you. You should be proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now Sam is expecting a reward. He's like, oh, yes, I kind of am.
Yeah, his reward is no chamber pots, but he's going to have to make copies of all these manuscripts and books. And this looks like a nightmare job. Yeah. Your reward is not being immediately expelled from the city.
I would take that job any day over the bedpans.
Over the bedpans for sure. But he's got to copy these because they're rotting. I mean, can you imagine copying a book? I mean, good God. I can barely read a book.
Can you imagine? It's just like the thickness of the paper would get jammed in the copier over and over.
Yeah.
And then you'd run out of toner.
And then you get distracted putting your face on the copy machine until somebody goes, hey, maybe that's going to cause skin cancer, you dumbass. And then you go, oh, man, why did I visit my mom at work? Fuck. I have skin cancer. Maybe that explains it. All right, so we need to find Dragonstone. They're at their little table. They have a nice little time. So they're reeling from this news, though. This loss of the Greyjoys is a big deal.
Yeah, their entire plan, their assault on King's Landing, is completely in tatters now. So all they really have left is the Tyrells.
Yeah, and the Dothraki horde.
Well, yeah. On land. I mean, in terms of the additional loyalty they had garnered.
Oh, right.
That was their last chip they had aside from what they came with.
But Dorne should still have troops, right?
Well, they don't have
a land army.
They don't really have the ships to get the Dornish soldiers to where they need to be.
That could be, yeah. Maybe they got to start walking then.
Across the water.
Well, no, but they're south. They're connected by land. It's just far.
Yeah, but the timing.
I get
and it's hard for them to hover above water to blockade by sea.
Yeah, that's right. So her plan is to take the dragons out for a spin and fuck up Euron and all his ships because she's pissed and she wants... And I think that she's thinking that's a good move, I would say. But... What she has to write? Okay, so the whole point of this part here is she needs. They talk her out of doing it herself because she needs to fly the dragons there. But why can't she just say?
Because they're basically saying, I won't be alone. I'll have my dragons with me. But it's like you don't know where they are. You don't know if they've split apart. You don't know. You could be out there for days, for weeks, flying around trying to find an enemy. And, not even accomplish anything.
And all it takes is an arrow, and you're done. So she kind of is like, all right, fine. But, man, do it at night. Just flame up those boats.
Does she have like the headlights on her dragon?
What if I'm standing here at one of these chairs going, come on, flame it up, and I'm sorry I swear so much, all right? I'll knock back on the fucking swearing.
Okay.
All right.
So even though they can't make good on this thing, they can still push forward on Casterly Rock with the Unsullied, which is already happening.
Yes. So the Unsullied are on their way. They're almost there.
And the bad thing is that apparently Tyrion Lannister knows that the Casterly Rock knows the Unsullied are coming.
Right. Seems to be the case. Looks like this is Casterly Rock. I don't think we've seen this before. Have we seen?
I don't think we've ever seen it.
I don't think we've seen the whole profile or the skyline of it.
No, if we have, I don't recall.
Yeah, maybe we haven't been there before. I'm thinking maybe some scenes with Tywin or something.
Somebody will correct us. Episode 5, season 2.
Yeah, which is fine. We appreciate that.
No,
we're not professing like we're the fucking Smithsonian gift shop.
And I should say I am very impressed when people can do that.
Yeah, it's great. We love that part of our community.
Yeah, that was not the most flattering voice I was choosing for that, but it is something I do. I wish I could do it.
Totally. And I also like that people don't mind me being a cuck.
Ooh.
I'm such a cuck. Great argument. You're really convinced a lot of people with that one. All right. So, it's so funny. All right. So well trained. All right. So there's the ships. Looks like this is the Unsullied fleet, right? Little weird boats.
And this is a voiceover from Tyrion at the time. Right. He's basically saying what's going to be happening.
Yeah. They're all going to be ready. So this whole sequence was done with a lot. Well, this whole Casterly Rock sequence had a lot of action. There was a lot going on there.
And we find out...
They showed all the prep. The Lannisters are putting arrows down.
Right, he says that Casterly Rock is impregnable.
Yeah.
And that an army assaulting by a forward assault would never take Casterly Rock. It never has been taken.
Right. Meanwhile, they're doing exactly that.
Well, we find out later that this is just an example of what would have happened had they done that.
Oh, this didn't actually happen?
This did not happen.
Really?
Yes.
You sure?
Positive.
I thought everything happened.
No.
All right, maybe not. Really?
Yes.
Okay, well we're gonna have to have everybody weigh in on that one. My thought was that this was the main force, but they had a side force that went into the hole.
No, the way I interpret it was that this is what would happen if they were attempt to breach it in a way that it cannot be breached. So we see what looks like the fall of the Unsullied, and we're supposed to feel sad about that, like, oh no, they're not going to make it.
Literal fall. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I interrupted you.
But then he goes on to keep saying, many men will die and blah, 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 blah. But that's not how it went down, because he knew something that the Casterly Rock defenders did not know.
Right.
That he was put in charge of designing the one part of Casterly Rock that his father deemed to be below himself, which was the sewers.
The sewers.
And he used the sewers to bring his concubines and whatnot in, so he knows them better than anyone else. So he informed the Unsullied of the secret entrance of the sewers so they could flood in unannounced from within.
Yeah, right. But that's not... They didn't flood in from within. A small group went in this access point and opened the front gate to let them flood in through the front. That's the move. That's the classic move. Is like, hey, get in there and break the door down for me. Because we have screenshots here. So they rush to the front door. As soon as they can, they get to the front door, lift up this big old log, unlock it, and then they flood in through there.
Right.
So this tells me, see all these arrows that are poking in all their shields? This tells me that they've been out there fighting up those walls. I don't think any of that...
I really don't think that the wall thing happened.
I think it happened. I think that was part of the distraction. It was part of we have to attack while this thing goes so we can amass at the front gate.
I'd like to think the Unsullied are smarter than that.
But my point... They couldn't have flooded through that sewer thing. They would have all had to come out of one hole.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. They knew how to breach the castle by going through the sewers.
But in massive numbers, it wouldn't have worked. They needed to let the door open.
No, I never said they all went through the sewers.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I'm saying that they sent a small force in through the sewers, opened it up, and that's how they got in.
Yeah.
I don't think that they tried to breach the walls. I think that was an artistic
the ladder
take
stuff,
on it.
You don't think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think that was to mislead us.
I didn't read it. It didn't read that way to me. It did seem like... The reason I accept that it happened is because in these battles, and I'm not sure how accurate I am about this, but I'm going to give it a go, the commanders were pretty dismissive of life. They used chunks of men, groups as moves on a chessboard, and some of them were sent in to be sacrificed, so we got to waste up some of their arrows, send in those guys. We got to... all I'm saying, though, is that it's plausible that they would take this action where they amass at the front door, but they also need to kind of keep everybody busy along the ramparts by trying to climb up the ramparts. Or is ramparts even the right word?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I know for sure, but it's very plausible that this battle went down this way, while that secret team led by Grey Worm went in through the sewer and then opened up the front door.
I think it's unlikely, though, because there's a finite number of Unsullied who have been trained from birth and conditioned to be fighters. You would not just carelessly cast them away and sacrifice them for nothing. And if they knew that they had a secret entrance into the sewers, they would never waste their lives in a distraction tactic by trying to go up a wall when they knew that they were going to get access to it within a matter of minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like a very bad tactical choice, which is why I don't think it happened.
Except that maybe let's pretend.
And I think that when they got in, they also found that the Lannister forces were much smaller than they expected. And I don't think that this kind of forces that we saw when they were trying to breach the walls were in fact actually there.
Yes, and this is Tyrion speaking here from afar. He doesn't actually know that it's actually not it's not the bulk of the Lannister forces. This is him just basically saying what he knows, but he's not here. They have less armor and fewer weapons, and that's him talking about the Unsullied though. And then so as they come through, they're like running up. Grey Worm is fighting his way in, and you take that, stab, ouch. They're this is an interesting distinction. But he's saying,
the advantage they'll have is that the Cersei's troops are fighting out of fear.
Right.
The Unsullied are fighting for something different.
For their freedom. Yeah. And that is why they will triumph over them. So that was a cool shot, that little thing. My belly. My torso. So when they do get up here, though, Unsullied are dead. Lannisters are dead. That's the thing about taking the walls. It's that yes, some of them did get up there. They did need to keep those archers.
But you don't know that those guys got up there by climbing over the wall. They could have gotten up there from the inner infiltration.
That's true too. I don't know that for sure. I agree with what you just said. But
of course, Unsullied are going to die trying to take Casterly Rock, but they shouldn't die needlessly on a wall. Is all I'm saying.
See, my point is though that the mindlessness nature of them is why they would willingly get themselves killed. Like they're there to be spent. They're just. Yes, you should value them because they're there. You don't want to lose. You obviously you want to keep as many alive as possible. But I don't know. They take orders. Is my point. That's why they're called Unsullied. I have no idea what I'm saying. Do you think when Captain Sully Sullenberger lost his virginity, he said, "I might have been Unsullied"?
No.
I mispronounced some words.
No.
All right, there are none left. So then he's like, Grey Worm's like, "Whoa, where's everybody at, man? Everybody thought this place would be busier." But see, when you look at here, there's just death everywhere. There's dead bodies all over there. There's dead bodies. So they went up and they fought all over the walls. They did climb the walls. I gotta say.
I think if they literally did go up the walls, I think that takes a lot away from the scene.
Really?
I think it does.
I don't think so. Why?
Because
it just shows the sacrifice.
It shows it's much less poetic, much less artistic. Because it kind of shows you essentially them climbing the walls and failing and falling back, and it's like, oh, they're not going to make it. It's completely hopeless. And then Tyrion's like, but no, they did something else. They actually went through the sewers to get in that way. They didn't try and go in that way. This is what really happened. This is what you think is going to happen, but this is what really happened.
Yeah. What you're saying isn't crazy. The way they presented it to me, I'm not trying to convince you, but I read it as those guys on those ladders, going up those ladders and getting shot.
Okay, it can be interpreted either way. I just don't think the Unsullied are that dumb.
No, I get you, but the Unsullied aren't the ones calling the shots. The bosses call the shots, right? So that's the whole point.
And Grey Worm is the boss, and he wouldn't do that.
Well, maybe he would. They won the battle. He doesn't seem too concerned about all the dead dudes. He's just like, all right, where is everybody?
He's not going to just start crying.
Yeah, he's not big on crying. His little mangled pee-pee leaks.
God.
Why did I say
okay,
that?
distant explosions.
All right, so then we've got bombs going. Oh, something's happening out on the water. We've got trouble in the bathtub. And, James, look at this shipped hair. Gotta look closely to spot it.
Yeah, no matter what good a soldier you are not going to beat a Greyjoy, a Euron Greyjoy on the water. They are unstoppable on the water.
Silence.
Yes.
I just did my hands in like a jazz hand, jazz hand, whatever they call that. All right, so look at that thing, that little rocket flying there. Oh man, shit's going down here. And then he grabs this guy and he's like, "Where are they? Where's all your friends?"
And it turns out the rest of the Lannisters, the kind of army that they were expecting to fight, were not there. They went elsewhere.
Right. Look at this though. Just like the Unsullied, looks like they took a lot of losses just taking Casterly Rock, and had they faced this army, they would have been decimated. One would assume, right?
Maybe. They're heavily armored, heavily trained. The Lannister army has been a powerhouse for a reason.
Right. And a siege is different. It's different than an open field combat. So anyway, here's the Lannisters. March. Stomp, 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 stomp. Boots, 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 boots. Captain Hero. He's on the white horse.
And we see Randall Tarley behind him with a very photogenic horse with looks like Fabio.
Fabio the horse. And that's the son. That's Sam's brother, handsome.
So it does turn out that Randall Tarley did take Jaime up on the offer. I didn't think he was going to, but he did because, power, money, wealth, influence trumps, past loyalty.
He went for it, yep. And there's Bran. Yep. Everybody loves Bran. Great TV show.
And he did say at one point, that when Tyrion was doing the voiceover, he said, "A very wise man once told me, or a good friend of mine told me one time, give me 10 good men and I'll
impregnate the bitch."
Yes, talking about Casterly Rock, but the real line was, "Give me 10 good men and some climbing boots and I'll..."
And that was Bran talking about the Eyrie.
Yeah.
Right? Which I knew. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know about I forgot about the climbing boots part. But yeah, that's a good detail. I like these lines. Doesn't he look like he's having just dancing at the club, just going yeah, rah! But he only got one move because he's a lion, and it's the most he can do.
Yes.
All right, so there's the thing, and this is the old lady. That's Olenna, the Queen of Thorns. She sees what's coming on. This is Highgarden. Is that correct?
Which makes sense because when they were talking, and by they I mean Cersei and the Bravos guest from the Iron Bank, he was saying that your enemy, the Tyrells, are the richest people in the lands. Mm-hmm. And she says by the time a fortnight is over, by the time you leave, your debts will be paid in full.
Right.
So obviously they're going after the people with the money, and they're going to take everything the Tyrells have.
That's it. That's what it is. And they went through this war in one shot. Right there. That's it. They went from here to, oh no, they're here. Look, they've showed up, to it's over. They didn't do the battle. They just showed a bunch of dead dudes with some Lannisters picking shit up.
And Olenna even says, our forte was never really fighting.
Yes.
Golden roses, yes, but not fighting.
Right. So we follow Jaime into the thing, and it's Olenna. Oh man, I like her. She's Google her. She's been an actress since like her early, since like the 1800s or something.
I keep wanting to like store stuff on her head. It's like it's a surface that should be used. Like there should be like a candle on it or something.
Yeah, or like maybe she grabs a chip and reaches up and there's hummus up there, and she takes a bite. Chip. What am I, poor? Pita Chip, obviously.
The guy from Hunger Games?
Pita Chip?
Pita?
Yeah, is his last name Chip? Hi, it's me. I'm in love with Lisa. What's her name? Sarah Lawrence. What's the actress's name? The lady who plays the Hunger Games.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. I almost said Sarah Lawrence. That's a college, I think. All right, so she goes. She knows they're done. She's just been up there watching her entire. Everybody get killed.
She's snarky to the very end, though.
Oh yeah, no, she's got it all, man. She's she's got a nice long life. So he pours a little wine for her, and said, "Be defending truth is Castle Rock isn't worth much anymore."
So it shows that Tyrion miscalculated.
Right. Yes, exactly. He didn't know that they would abandon it, basically, is what happened. So
so now the Unsullied have taken Casterly Rock.
Let me make that clear. They didn't really abandon it. They vacated it to sort of cede that territory and took their army and put it to better use, destroying the Tyrells.
Well, not only did they allow the Unsullied to take Casterly Rock, but they destroyed their fleets. Now the Unsullied are stuck there, so they can't get back to Daenerys. So Daenerys has lost the Tyrells. Daenerys has lost the Greyjoys, the Dornish, and now she's lost her own Unsullied.
Oh man,
things are not looking good with Daenerys at this point.
No, they're not at all. She's in big trouble here. So yeah, I thought this was nice. I mean, they had a nice little kind of like, I'm not going to just come in here and kill you. We're going to talk it out a little bit.
But Olenna is telling him things that he already knows, but things that he doesn't want to hear. Saying that Cersei is a monster. She is a disease. She is a cancer spreading across the world who has already infected you. And he knows it, but he's too deep in it to really do anything about it.
Right. But she
acknowledges that the sword they're carrying is Joffrey's sword, Widow's Wail.
But she's also accepted her fate. She's
yes.
Like, how are you going to do this? I'm not going to resist. You're just going to kill me. He really was. That's in response to
Joffrey.
About Joffrey.
Yes.
I did unspeakable things to protect him. So then it gets pretty cool, though. I really like this turn that it took. Because I forgot. I mean, I knew that it was her, but like I was like, oh yeah, she's the one that did Joffrey.
No, right? She's not talking about that yet.
Not yet, but we're getting.
She's saying that she's done unspeakable things, terrible things out of necessity, but she would never even be able to imagine the things that she's seen Cersei do.
Yeah.
Which shows that Cersei is truly a monster.
Yes, right. And the way he reacts, she's like, you love her, don't you, you asshole? So yeah. Anyway, she finally agrees to basically let it go down. She's just really crapping on Cersei, though. She's not a fan.
She's got nothing left to lose. She's not leaving this room alive. Or she knows that she's going to be taken to King's Landing to be killed in horrific ways like you're about to see.
Yeah, Cersei wanted to behead her in front of the Red Keep. He wanted to flay you, hang you from the walls. But he talked her. This is Jaime showing a little mercy, a little not justice, but he pulls out some poison, what we assume, more of that 5-hour energy.
Yeah.
He pours it in her glass. So that's probably the best outcome she could hope for.
Yeah.
I mean, just some kind of thing.
I was personally thinking she was just going to go and jump out a window, go Tommen style.
Yeah. Or blow herself up with wildfire. But she's like, will it hurt me? Like, no, I made sure of that.
Just pull a small gun out from under her hat. That's what's been under there the whole time.
It's a bird's nest under there, and the bird comes out and pecks her eyes out. But no, she immediately swigs. As soon as he's like, no, you won't be in any pain. She chugs it. She just grabs it, glug, 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 glug.
This is where she goes into it, because now she knows the game has already been set. She's a goner. This is how she's going to die.
Yep.
So now she says, I'm glad I didn't go out like Joffrey, foaming eyes, bloodshed, skin purple.
Yep. So she really makes him relive Joffrey's death, which was grisly and terrible. She even says, like, it's not what I intended. I just never seen this poison work before. And I thought that was kind of cool. And he's like, oh my God, you're the one. You did it, and tell Cersei. She wants Cersei to know she's the one that killed her son. I thought that's pretty crazy.
Right, and you made a good point when you saw this originally. You were saying now Jaime truly knows that Tyrion didn't do it.
Yes, this changes the way he's going to respond to Tyrion. It confirms.
Still, Tyrion did kill his father.
Well, there's that. That's true.
But he did not kill Joffrey.
Right. And, yeah.
Nor did Sansa.
Samsung. Yes. So, but yeah, that's basically the end here. Sandisk. Laserdisc. No, that didn't. And away he goes and leaves her to die in her little chamber there. And they're going to come take her body and throw it out the window. All right, we got to the end. That's it. We did it. James, great episode or great episode?
It was very talky, but a lot of important stuff happened. Not a whole lot of action because it kind of skipped over the major scenes. We didn't see the Tyrells get taken in, all their glory. They were around since the very beginning, and yet they fall within a short little segue of a scene.
Yep.
So, a little tiny bit disappointing there, but actually it's kind of funny when he does that. It almost looks like the volume of wine in the glass changes.
Oh,
it's just the refraction of him going behind it.
It's white versus lighter versus darker background behind the glass. Wow, look at that. It's amazing what you'll find when you come to this channel, huh, everybody? I appreciate this episode. I thought it was great. They advanced some stuff. They can't show every battle. It's a little weird.
No, they've got to spend their budget somewhere, and they've already used a heck of a lot of it already in the first couple episodes.
Right.
We've seen some really cool stuff.
So
that Euron Greyjoy fight on the ship at the end of that was amazing. That was amazing.
I'm looking forward to the dragons flying around, fucking up the whites. That'll be fun. Jon Snow is stuck on Dragonstone for a while. We'll see how that resolves.
Wouldn't it be great if they used all these amazing special effects up front, so by the time you get to the final episode, it's just guys in green suits just flying around with little tracking balls on their face.
Or like that one dude that played Jabba the Hutt in the original shots of Jabba the Hutt scenes.
Yeah, it's Andy Serkis running around.
It's like a big fat guy in a weird jacket. Andy Serkis with golf balls on his head. Hello, it's me, Andy Serkis. I'm very talented. That guy's incredibly talented. It's insane.
Yes, he is.
All right, well, that's all we got, right? More. Check us out, everybody, on the next one. We're going to be picking this up next week. What an exciting time it is to have everybody here with us. We enjoy doing these videos.
Can you edit out all the parts where I was rambling and incoherent?
That's all what I do. Then that's what I feel bad.
This would be a 4-minute long video if you did that.
I shouldn't have said that with the Southerners. That's not fair.
Nah,
it's not fair at all. I apologize. I'm not in any position. Everybody's ignorant in America. That should be our slogan.
The people who are offended by that have not watched this far. No need to apologize.
Well, they might have. If it helps everybody, I live in a torture of my own mind, and it never ends, and I can't wait for the sweet mercy of death. All right, let's keep going. We're done. Bye-bye, James. Thanks for liking and subscribing, everybody. Consider that Patreon, which is not even available because I'm a fucking idiot and I haven't made the thing yet. But I'm putting the graphics on there because maybe someday in the future somebody will watch it. I'm the worst. It's terrible. I can't believe this channel. I can't. It's insane. All right, bye, James. Bye-bye, man. Good job. Get out of my room. Get the fuck out of my room. Take this poison wine with you. I will not drink it.